You crack, you didn't go far, but you a black man like me. That's right, and it's worth something.
This is Black Watch with Commanding General Yahanna, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man didn't make man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
You don't need a black man in the White House. You need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Black Watch. Let the show begin.
Let me know when to get it on. Clap it up. Clap it up. Most High in Christ. The water. We're here with the crew tonight. General GEN.YAHANNA, give him a hand. General Cabal Mouse coming up from DC. Give General Cabal a hand. Boy, you want to come up, Cabal? Yeah, you want to come up if you want. Come on up if you want to get down. It's up to you. Oh no, General Haas out of town. But Commander General GEN.YAHANNA will be up. You can sit in General Haas' seat if it's all right. General GEN.YAHANNA is on a mission down out there in Houston tonight. Give General GEN.YAHANNA a hand. All right. Commander General GEN.YAHANNA is on deck. He'll be here tonight in the building. Am I right, Maya? Give him a hand. We're here with Officer Morale, Officer Yediah. General Cabal's ribs, give him a hand. His young sister and the kids, give them all a hand. We're rocking it out tonight. We're going to go through all the stories, get to that Memorial Day. Of course, this is the Memorial Day weekend. This is the gift that America gives all of your dead soldiers in lieu of money and health care, in lieu of kindness, in lieu of caring for them. What America does is give you a day where you can get a deal on a mattress. Everyone knows that, right? You know, so-called Memorial Day is the day for mattress sales. Everyone gets a deal on mattresses on Memorial Day, and that's why your grandfather had to die for a mattress deal, because of course this memory and this waving of the flag that they do for dead soldiers is all they're going to do. But meanwhile, those of you that come home with half a leg and half a body are of course going to wait in a line at the VA hospital for a year to get your medication. Right. Soldiers aren't treated well in America, man. That's the problem. Soldiers definitely risk everything and put their lives on the line and put their health on the line, put their sanity on the line. But soldiers are treated poorly by our oppressor. Our oppressor has treated soldiers poorly, man, since the time of the Greeks, since the Romans, all right? We'll go into Memorial Day as well today. We'll get all of the stories. Once again, Commander General GEN.YAHANNA, he'll be in the building in a few minutes. We'll hold it down until he gets here, all right? Yediah, where are we at?
I know heckling, but that's different than heckling. Father of Ja Morant says 3 fans banned from the stadium hurled lewd and racist remarks.
Now, Yediah has to explain this to me. I know everyone was talking about this on Facebook about some oppressors that threw candy or something on basketball players. Yediah, break it down.
Kind of, I could, sir. You know, now the NBA Finals is back around. And, when Ja Morant plays for the Memphis Grizzlies, but there has been multiple instances since they started letting fans back into the stadiums. Mm-hmm. Like just last week, Russell Westbrook was who plays for the Washington Wizards was going through the tunnel, exiting the game with an injury, and there was a devil that came through and you
about to come up here and tell General GEN.YAHANNA to get here, all right? Well, we get you a chair just so they can hear. This is a long story, right? Make sure they can hear you. Yediah is breaking down what happened at a basketball game. This is the basketball playoffs time. The stadiums have been opened back up from the COVID-19 restrictions. Now I think they're at full capacity, right?
Lies, sir. They're not about 25% capacity.
25% capacity at the stadiums. They're playing the bouncing the basketball, playing in the playoffs. And of course, some oppressor feels it necessary to celebrate being back in the stadium by throwing things at black people. Yediah.
And Russell Westbrook's case, one devil, poured popcorn on him. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, a devil spit at him when he was trying to inbound the ball. And then just this past, yesterday, I believe it was in Boston, where a fan, one of them devils threw a water bottle, at Kyrie Irving. And then with Ja Morant, something similar happened, for him, and he plays for the Grizzlies. So since the NBA playoffs started, Esau was just running rampant on our brothers, sir. Throwing things at him, spitting on them.
Yeah. And if I could, Yediah, that's what they missed while the stadium was closed.
God.
That's okay. And I'm not sure if professional basketball players understand this, but that is part of the NBA experience.
Exactly.
Part of the experience of going to a game is being able to belittle and degrade black people and it being allowed. That's part of the sporting event. General Cabal.
Come on, that's the Roman Coliseum
thing.
You get to abuse the hell out of the damn contestants. That was part of the fun.
Right.
You understand?
That's what the general was saying is so correct. If you go back to ancient Rome, that was part of the celebration of the sporting event to be able to dehumanize and degrade the gladiators, to which they would die and be killed and to throw bread at them and rotten tomatoes. That was what they used to do. Is they used to at one time bring all this rotten fruit to sporting events and just pellet you with tomatoes and hit you in your damn face with tomatoes. And that was part of the celebration. That is, if you ban everyone who degrades basketball players from the arena, there will be a backlash. Once again, this is what GEN.YAHANNA always taught us. If you say, well, that's not allowed, you cannot do this, there will be a backlash from fans the same way there was a backlash because you dared to kneel down a few minutes before the sporting event when they're celebrating the national anthem.
Right.
There will be a backlash if you bar them from degrading the basketball players. They believe it's their right. They believe that's what they're paying the price for those tickets of.
Right.
Those tickets are expensive. And they want to come there and stick their finger right in their face. And can you think about how expensive it is to buy a ticket that would put you that close to a basketball player to spit on him? Brother, you're paying to spit on him. You understand? Like, that's the reason you could have got seats far away where your spit didn't reach. You paid to get in spitting distance from that Negro, and you paid that money so you could be close enough to get right in his face, spit at him, and throw popcorn at him, and then go, boy, this is a great game. Yediah.
Wow. Honorable Khan, sir. It says the wave of unruly fans continue. There appears to have been a third occurrence of fan-related misconduct at the NBA playoffs game this week after 3 fans were ejected and later banned indefinitely after they were found to have hurled rude and racist remarks at the family of Memphis Grizzlies player Ja Morant.
And if any of you younger brothers out there think that this is, strange, this is just like the violence that police give Black and Hispanic citizens. It's not strange. It's just being recorded. There has been so much violence that fans commit against basketball players. Right. I mean, give me that. What's that big fight with Ron Artest? When Ron Artest got sick of it and just went up in the stand and just started, molly-whopping the hell out of them oppressors. What's the name of it? Give me that.
Malice at the Palace.
Give me Malice at the Palace. And this is why things like this happen.
Right.
This is what happened this week is mild. It's a little bit of popcorn and some spit. Brother, please. Listen, brother, please. What about the boxing event? I remember years ago, Marvin Hagler was fighting some oppressor, and he had the nerve to win in England. And, brother, you would have thought it was a hailstorm in that arena. All of the things that rained down on him when he beat that oppressor in that ring. This is very mild what happened this week. It's just on camera. And blacks and Hispanics are beginning to change their mind and come around to the way that Commanding General Yahanna thinks.
Damn right.
And now because of this popcorn is a big deal. This popcorn would have been nothing 2 years ago. It would have just been part of what it means to play in the NBA. And give me, this is Malice at the Palace, right? When did this happen, you Dyer?
That happened in 2004, I believe, sir, or 5.
Give me the start of it, if I could, Morale. It's like, you busy?
Yes, sir. Oh, it didn't start yet, sir.
Oh, it didn't start yet. Goddamn.
It's about to start in a few seconds, sir.
Okay, everyone can see it?
Right now.
He tired of that.
Oops. That's like the bull jumping over the stands where they chasing the bull all up in the stands.
Somebody threw water on him and another player mollywop him. Got it.
They get tired of that, huh? You die.
If I may, sir, the craziest thing about that whole thing, the man Ron Artest jumped on was not the man that threw it.
As it happens sometimes, man.
Sometimes
wrong
it's like that.
What you gonna do?
Hey, casualty of war. Right?
It's a casualty of war. Listen, because basketball players were just so sick of being assaulted the whole damn game. And this poor brother, once again, because times were different then, he was so embarrassed and ridiculed because he attacked some fan in retaliation who had been attacking him and assaulting him the whole game.
Right.
That he had to change his name to Meta World Peace.
Right.
And become the sweetest Martin Luther King loving basketball player. You know that he legally changed his name to Meta, which I don't know what the hell that means. Meta means like spiritual or something, I guess. You can look that up on your own.
The metaverse.
Meta World Peace. And that's his legal goddamn name right now. Because once again, back then, he was supposed to absorb that abuse. He was supposed to just take it, internalize it, and just allow himself to be beaten. Times are changing. But I can tell you, I was why y'all was shot. You see that happen right now every day. I see it happen with things that we were crazy for saying. Now, masses of blacks and Hispanics agree with Commanding General Yahanna. Look at this right here. You talking about some popcorn.
God.
Listen,
They
brother,
doing mad stuff.
are you joking? He can't get out the damn stadium. He can't get
That's
out.
what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's the point. That's why they bought the popcorn.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead.
It's that they have to pull you out of character because they mad because they would never make the kind of money. Like the fans are, the white boys that hated you because they was watching you in high school and stuff like that.
That's it.
You understand? They was doing your homework or what have you in college. You was sleeping with their little white bunnies or what have you in college or what have you. So now they got their high-powered jobs to get the good seats and, they just going to abuse you. And if they don't, you might turn into Kwame Brown.
There you go.
You understand?
Give him a hand.
You might turn into Kwame Brown and, keep your dignity at least. You know what I'm saying? You gave me this money. I'm going to take this money. I ain't going to say nothing about what the hell you think about me. You understand? But don't call me out of character. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I might just one day go off on you and show you that I really didn't give a damn about, the NBA. He should just go in and say it. I didn't give a damn about the NBA and playing and getting the records or nothing. I just wanted the money.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
And what in the hell is wrong with that? And listen, and let me tell you, and every brother who is beaten by a fan in the NBA, not only should you blame the people who are pelleting you with water bottles and popcorn, but blame rich black people who taught them that you were supposed to be beaten, that it was part of playing in the NBA. Because that's what they learned. What General Cabal is saying is so true. This was the rationale at one time, that you were being paid so much money and you really shouldn't complain if somebody throws a bottle at you or spits in your face. Why? Because you're getting paid so much money. And brother, they were saying that like crazy back then.
Jackie Robinson, you understand? It was,
give him a hand.
It was abuse.
Give him a hand.
That was you a nigga. What is you doing in our league?
Oh my Lord. Jackie Robinson went through inhuman abuse from not just the fans, but from the players, especially the Philadelphia Phillies, who were terrible with that Ty Cobb and somebody else who was just terrible to him and would roll watermelons at him when he came to the stadium. Throw watermelons at him. The players on the opposite team. And that cat who I forget his name, who hired Jackie Robinson to play for the Dodgers, said that he picked him because of his passive mentality. You can go Google that. There were a lot of players who were more skilled athletes. Jackie Robinson didn't breaking no records in the MLB, none. Right. He ain't top 10 or top 5 on anything, but he had the mentality to be abused. And rich black people have taught white people that abusing you is part of the game, and a good athlete will take it, like Jackie Robinson. Right. Give General Cabal a hand. And so now for years and years, that's the culture, that rich black athletes, you get paid, and we now can abuse you because we're paying you to take our abuse. And that is how time has went on until the last days. So now here we are in the last days, while the UPK growing, and we're stronger and mighty in this earth. And what we have been teaching is being heard. Damn right. And so now, because of that, some popcorn is a problem now. It's a problem now, and every oppressor should understand that. Yediah.
Honorable Khan, sir. Next question.
Please, I believe if we're done, go ahead.
Honorable Khan, sir. Black fear of Tulsa police lingers 100 years after massacre.
Black fear of Tulsa. Let's look up the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre. The anniversary, I believe, is today or yesterday. Salakia. He'll get it. Salakia. You need some? Go ahead, you grab it for me.
They're saying now, I think tonight is when it started. Then early in the morning, that's when Esau really assaulted him.
We'll look it up. You can read it up on the screen, Yediah or Marah. The Tulsa. This is the anniversary of the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre. It happened this weekend, and so now, which is very strange in society and in history, that people are even talking about the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. But it's being talked about now. Why? Because what the UPK and Commanding General Yahanna have been teaching is finally being heard through much patience and much aggression. We've had to give these matters. We've had to give these matters, brother, much aggression. And we have. And so now, even the masses of society are remembering what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yediah, just give everyone a brief history of what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma this weekend. All right?
Honorable Khan, sir. Honorable Khan.
Do me a favor, Warrior. Can you give me a short one, please? Go ahead.
There's been undeniable progress in the relationship between the Tulsa police.
I don't need all that. Just give me the history of what happened.
Honorable Khan.
Just tell everyone what happened. Even that part in the story is just propaganda. You can skip down and just give me the story, all right?
Yeah, Honorable Khan, sir. You know, in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was a brother, you know what I mean, that lived in Tulsa, and he was out of town, and then there was a devil, a she devil, and she came and said, you know, that the brother, you know, raped her. Well, Salaki, the brother was in the elevator, and I believe he tripped, you know what I mean, and maybe ripped part of her dress. That was the story. Then when she went back and told her husband, you know what I mean, they, you know, blew it out of proportion and said that the brother raped her. And then they marched.
Try to stop you. That's the impetus on so many massacres that happened throughout America. If you go look up the history of race massacres, it might be 5 pages of them when you look it up online. It's so many. And almost all of them have started from some oppressor's daughter saying that a black man raped her. It might be all of them, right? Which, once again, every brother should remember when you go to lay down with an oppressor's daughter today.
That's right.
When you go to have interracial marriage or interracial sex, remember all the brothers that died for being accused of doing what you're doing right now. And here's what they find out later. Almost all of them were lies. Emmett Till, that woman that Emmett Till was murdered because some white woman said he whistled at her. Later on, she confessed he never even whistled at her. She just lied. And so many oppressors' daughters who would just lie about what a black man did to them for attention, or to get their husband to not beat them to death, because white men, oppressors at that time, were beating their wives, brother, something terrible. Beating them so bad, they had to pass that 14th Amendment, not 14th Amendment. I think the first, what's the one when they got rid of alcohol?
Oh, the prohibition?
They had to pass the prohibition law just to try to stop white men from beating their wives to death. And so white women were so terrified of their husbands that they'd be out committing adultery. And the only way not to get beaten is to say, it was a black man and he raped me. And then because of that, that husband would not beat them to death.
She was out voting.
She's out voting, daring to leave out the house. She says, I got raped by a black man. He, instead of beating her to death in a drunken rage, he focuses all his anger on killing a black person, any black person he finds. Give me, what is this cat's name? You gonna finish reading. What is the cat name who made that movie?
It's called
Taken.
Okay.
What's the cat name who made the Edomite?
Okay.
Say again? Fawada, give her a hand. Look up Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson said that he believed his girlfriend was raped by a black person, and he went throughout the streets of Dublin, Ireland, looking for somebody black to kill in the 70s, in the 80s or 70s. That is how Tulsa, Oklahoma happened. When you get a chance, find Liam Neeson saying it in an interview so you can understand what happened tonight. This is what happened. Some white man, his girlfriend comes home. She's a slut, a whore who's drunk, who has sex with anybody and everybody in the bar. He comes to her. He can tell she had sex. He wants to know where she's been all night. He's going to beat her to death. She doesn't want to get beat to death. Where you been all night? Oh, black man raped me. I got raped. What did he look like? He was black, big and brown and muscular and tall. And Liam Neeson was searching for a black man to kill. Well, that is where the Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre came from, young man. Come on.
If I may, and listen, Tulsa, General, there was an elevator that a brother had to take because he couldn't go to the white restroom in his job. So that his boss made a deal with another building to let them go to the colored bathroom. He go to the bathroom. There's a white girl operating the elevator. Something happened that ain't clear, of course, where he might have stumbled. The elevator jerked. And she said, you put your hands on me. You touched me. And that wasn't the ears of a white man who said he assaulted her. And that turned into he raped her. And that's what started Tulsa. And she never even pressed charges. He left jail. You understand?
Yeah, man.
God.
I mean, it's so ironic that the white man would seeing the status or the current status of it or what have you, how he is the one that perpetuated the whole thought of a black man doing something to a white woman with the movie The Birth of a Nation. I mean, like he perpetuated the whole thing or what have you of black men raping white women with a movie that was seen in the White House. But yet and still, they don't even want to see or hear about the Commission on the Insurrection. You know what I'm saying? But they would sit and view a movie that was definitely racist and definitely targeted to destroying the black image. You know what I'm saying? And so,
what you're saying
100 years later.
What General Cabal is talking about is this movie called The Birth of a Nation. I believe it was out in the 30s, and President Woodrow Wilson viewed it in the White House, and it's a complete propaganda movie about how the Ku Klux Klan were the heroes that saved white women in the South from black men who received power during the time of Reconstruction after the Civil War, and the Ku Klux Klan are the heroes in the movie that saved their women. You want to say something?
Honorable Concept, what you bringing out is so heavy. I remember it was about 2 years ago that they came out with a movie called Black Klansman with Denzel's son, John David Washington. And in the movie Black Klansman, they went over that with the cat David Duke. And they showed, all of them all together, watching that. And they brought out, like in the film, how Woodrow sat there and watched it. And they also say that was one of the greatest pieces of cinema ever created.
That's what he said. That's a quote from Woodrow Wilson. Let's read about what happened on Black Wall Street. Then I'll show you how easy it is for it to happen again with Liam Neeson. Keep going.
Honorable Khan, sir. So lucky. I have another story that's in conjunction with this one after I read this, sir.
Yeah, please.
Honorable Khan, if I may. It says, was sparked by accusations of a 19-year-old black white girl in an elevator. The Tulsa race massacre left as many 300 black people dead and thousands of black residents displaced. 35 square blocks were torched and damages spiraled into the millions.
If you could tell me about what Tulsa, Oklahoma was like, the black section was like before this race massacre. Most of you might know by now. They called it Black Wall Street because it was a thriving area of black business and commerce with professionals and airports and banks. It was a jewel in the crown of black society. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Come on.
After we had the Trail of Tears, where they walked our asses over there.
Give them a hand. I mean, that's a fact. Which one? Blacks and Hispanics before integration. Command General Yahanna always taught me that the people in Tulsa, Oklahoma at that time suffered 2 massacres. One massacre was from the murderers that came into their town and murdered their sons and brothers and burned down their businesses. And the second massacre happened because of integration. There was 2 massacres that happened. They had thriving businesses that the Ku Klux Klan, racists, and our oppressors burned to the ground. Then later on, they had integration, which devastated their businesses until they never returned. There were 2 massacres that happened to our society, to our thriving infrastructure, to our businesses, and we haven't been able to overcome yet. One, the minute we begin to thrive and grow, some neighboring town will just come and kill everybody and burn the business down. And then when we go to try to rebuild it, they pass a law telling our customers to go shop somewhere else. And we aren't able to overcome that kind of oppression. Everybody understands that. You got any more? Please.
Carnival Khan.
Please, go ahead.
The next story on Tulsa, sir.
Give me another one on Tulsa, please.
Carnival Khan. It says how the Tulsa massacre spent most of the last century unremembered.
Yeah, because unremembered, because it's something that no one remembers on purpose. 1 second. Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, Rakatah. Grab it up, get it on. Come on, preach. Yeah. All right. Come on. You come with that if you want. Yeah, you got another seat. You right here. You want the chair right here.
He got no microphone.
Oh shit. I'm smart right here.
The what?
21 come.
What? Getting it in?
21 come.
We live?
Good to go. Lock it in, bro.
I'm right. So I
Keep talking. We We're talking about the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots. And a few stories that obviously Yediah had on it. Yediah, please continue.
Carnival Khan, sir. It says how the Tulsa massacre spent most of the last century unremembered.
Keep going.
When the smoke cleared in June 1921, the toll from the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma was catastrophic. Scores of lives lost, homes and businesses burned to the ground, a thriving black community gutted by a white mob.
Keep going.
The nightmare cried out for attention as something that should be investigated and memorialized with speeches and statues with anniversary commemorations.
This thing should be what?
It should be investigated.
And what?
Memorialized.
And what?
Memorialized.
And what?
Memorialized.
You see, of course, our oppressor, sir, picks and chooses the things they want to give a memorial to, right? There are certain things they want you to remember, certain things they want you to never forget. And to wave a flag because these fallen heroes have died and they should never, with their sacrifice, should never be forgotten.
Even if they're unknown.
Even if they're unknown, they're going to make sure you know them by putting up
the wreath
of the unknown soldier, right? But then there's other things, though, you better forget. You better not try to remember. If you attempt to remember it, you'll be persecuted and oppressed until, for fear of your safety, you'll never bring it up again. And that's why no one remembers the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. And once again, these massacres, brother, there might be 200 of them.
Yeah.
There was one on Gray's Ferry.
Yep.
Right here in Philadelphia, all over New York. My God.
That's right.
New York, I mean,
On
it was
Wall
like the
Street.
killing fields.
They found
on Wall
graves.
Street.
They found
Graves
on
on Wall
Street.
Street. Everywhere. St. Louis. Oh my, the list is just say everywhere.
Chicago, yep.
Chicago, wherever there was black communities, trying to throw out Latino communities. California, the Zoot Suit riots they had down there. Where any black or Hispanic person is attempting to have the gall to take a piece of the American dream, someone comes in to burn down his neighborhood and burn his business to the ground. And then integration finishes him off. That's the history of America, and that's why no one remembers this, because there is no memorial for Tulsa, Oklahoma. There is no one that is allowed to remember it, but you are allowed to remember World War II, World War I, the Afghanistanian wars. You're able to remember the soldiers who signed up to be soldiers, but you can't remember the people who were victims, who weren't soldiers, who wanted to go to work that day, who wanted to farm a field.
If they was black.
If they were black. Cool, come.
What y'all gonna say? Slack it, General. You was gonna say something
on
General? Could I just add a little
Please,
to what
sir.
General Muhammad brought out? And what's so evil about it is this. They were so angry with black people because black people was, tearing down them Confederate statues. These are statues of people that murdered us. People that, that lost the war, that tried to overthrow the country. These people that tried to overthrow the country and lost in the overthrow and still got statues memorializing their effort to overthrow the country. And they're angry if you even talk about tearing it down because of the abuses that they did to black people. But yet, you can't never bring up Tulsa, Oklahoma. And what they don't talk about in Tulsa, Oklahoma is how many jars with men's scrotums that were up there. You ain't got Jack. That's all right. I'll take Coke with ice if you don't have Jack.
This is Coke.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Jack. Sorry to cut in on.
No, sir, please.
Like they don't talk about how many jars they had in Tulsa, Oklahoma after that massacre that had men's scrotum in the jar. They were like trophies being passed around. But meanwhile, this bastard here, he could turn around and you can't tear down his statues. You can't tear down none of his statues. When they came to Philadelphia and tried to tear down the Christopher Columbus statue, they almost had a riot in South Philly because they gonna keep their gods. And once again, if I could add a little bit more to what you're saying, General, which is so heavy, that it is so dumb. It is so dumb and foolish of our people to even think and believe that there's a chance that this is going to go in the direction they've been looking for it to go to. All the top pundits, all the so-called big head Negroes are all talking as though what happened with what happened with George Floyd was a turning of the page. Like they believe since George Floyd's death and so many people came out, that meant that people voted as well. And that's why Joe Biden is in office. And then now somehow white people have some extra sense of awareness. And that now they might be able to see their way through doing the right thing when it comes to blacks, Latino, and Native Indians. And once again, it's and I'm talking, these are highly, highly educated people, black people in think tanks, black people with PhDs sitting in think tanks. And they all think this way, and it's so damn blind and dumb. Like we brought out the other day, real quick, I get up off it, how in the 70s they came out with critical race theory. Like they did an educated analysis on what the major problem is socially and found out that it was critical race theory. And because of it, they sat on it. These great academics had this information and sat on it for 50 years. And now they believe the climate, they so brainwashed, they believe the climate is set now that they can now bring it out and it's going to actually have an effect. Let me tell you something, man. You better not only listen to the Israelite school of UPK, but you better thank the Most High Christ that he gave you the Israelite school of UPK. Because I mean, Salaki. I hate to toot our horn. I hate to act like what we're saying is such an anomaly. It'd be nice if it wasn't. It'd be nice if it'd be like, yeah, everybody's saying that. It'd be nice because it would say that us as a people have somehow elevated to some level of awakeness. But unfortunately, I have to say that it's just us. And then we the only ones been saying this for so long. And they making go ahead, General. Go ahead.
I want to go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
I looked up an article on how to break Stockholm syndrome, General, and it showed that everything the I.S.U.P.K been doing since 1969 are all the different methods to break Stockholm syndrome.
Damn.
You understand? It's like those big head Negroes you're talking about. They received that gift that the kidnapper give you. And then it flips your brain and think, okay, maybe he will do better. And you forget the person that then kidnapped you. Now you're looking at them like they're your savior now. Like they help you. That's Stockholm syndrome. Yes. And the only way to break it, you got to be reminded. You got to be told the truth. Like the wool got to be pulled from over your eyes, and you got to see that these people that you look at, it said sometimes as gods. You vote for them, you worship them, you do things.
White Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? You forget that those people you praying to and worshiping and voting for are the very people who got you in the poverty and the condition you in, General.
I think we crazy.
Listen,
I think
when I read this, it blew my mind. You know, it said once you find out the truth, your brain will see reality, and you will have a necessary hatred and anger for these people. But it said it's necessary so you don't blame yourself.
Right.
It's necessary that you blame the right people.
Come on, man.
I was blown. I said, this is the I tried to contain myself because of your diet. I was next to but it was amazing.
Listen, because I be thinking, you know what? I be like, you know what? We better stop this. Sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I come out, I go out, I throw the garbage out, you know what I mean? Do something normal, eat some eggs, and I say, you know what? Y'all better stop this. Because this is nutty nut shit. But then I come in here with y'all, and I know I'm not bugging out. I'm like, why is it the top of academia? These are educated Negroes, man. Why can't they get this? Why can't they see through this and get their head right? And the conclusion I could only come to is that through the grace and mercy and the love of the God of that Hebrews that parted that Red Sea and killed that Egyptian army, that through his mercy we receiving this knowledge, because otherwise I don't understand how y'all have figured this out. Y'all from the hood. How y'all figure this shit out? And these big head niggas sitting in Princeton and Yale and Harvard and in think tanks, and they can't figure this out. And the sad part is it's going to lead to a bloodbath, right or wrong?
Oh yeah,
the way they acting.
Because these white boys, these Edomites out, them little shootouts and shoot-ups, all of that is getting ready to go into overdrive. So, Lockie, I'm off it. You so right, General. Give it up.
Story is backing that all up.
God.
He got one of them that says nearly 80% of white Republicans say America has done enough to help black people.
Yeah.
Please pull that story. We did that yet?
No, we did not. You're about to get on it right now. What you got?
He wanted to read something for
please.
Stockholm.
Khan, this is the article that I read for General Mayak on Wednesday. It says, breaking free of Stockholm syndrome. It says, naive notions of unconditional kindness and love, the denouncing of darkness and intractable devotion are confronted and modified. Rage is ignited, fueling a necessary period of hate that allows the victim to release needless self-blame.
Damn. Needless self-blame. Meaning you don't need this self-blame, but you got this self-blame.
Right.
And that's
if I could, sir. I mean, people that watch you should know this, that Gen.YAHANNA consistently has said, don't blame yourself.
Right. Yes.
Stop blaming yourself. Don't blame yourself. Ron Artest got pelleted by a fan in the 90s or 2000s.
That's right.
And changed his name to Meta World Peace.
Damn.
Because this is what he got out of being assaulted that day. He should have handled it better. The problem that day wasn't with the white man that threw popcorn and spit on him and and threw things at him. The problem is that he did not absorb it the way Jackie Robinson did, and mainly Martin Luther King did. Which, if I could answer if I can give you the reason for why we have Stockholm syndrome, is because this is like normal life, normal nature. Whatever you feed lives, whatever starves dies. And our oppressor feeds Christianity, Martin Luther King, and Meta World Peace. And they starve anyone who actually wants to be awake. They starve you until you're starving to the point that you are willing to do anything to be able to eat. And it's clear what you have to do to eat. What you have to do to eat is accept the mark of the beast, is accept Christianity, accept this sense of self-hatred that preserves your life. And over time, you just do it to survive. It's just that simple, just a simple thing. And people don't want to die.
Exactly.
They don't want to starve.
Right. Who does?
So they go to church. Boom. So they become Jackie Robinson. So they change their name to Meta World Peace. So they forget Tulsa, Oklahoma, because people don't want to starve to death and die and in a hovel somewhere. Exactly. And our oppressor knows that.
That's right.
That's
right. And if I could, what you're saying so heavy is because that's exactly why Christ required us to be the way we are.
Shalom.
To take it all the way to the damn board of boards if necessary. Because, my goodness, otherwise you just going to just crumble away slowly. Like, we better wake up really, really fast. You understand? Go ahead.
You die. Please finish up the one you had and give me
the 80.
You give me all the Tulsa, Oklahoma, whatever you have, and then show Commander General Yahanna, Liam Neeson, and then of course all of the proof we live through every day to show you that Tulsa, Oklahoma could happen again, and it's going to happen again. And Matt Gase, whatever his name is.
That was crazy.
To show you that it's going to happen again, and the January 6th riots in the Capitol to show you how close it is to happening again. Yediah.
It says, but the horror and violence visited upon Tulsa's black community didn't become part of American history. Instead, it was pushed down, unremembered, and untaught until efforts decades later start bringing it into the light. And even this year, with the 100th anniversary of the massacre being recognized, it's still unfamiliar history to many, something historians say has broader repercussions.
But, sir, they do remember Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech.
That's right.
That didn't get forgotten, which is another UPK tenet. Martin Luther King was a traitor to black people. His movement hurt black people. Integration hurt black people. Right. Jackie Robinson hurt black people. All of the heroes of your society, the things that you venerate and make holy are things that hurt blacks and Hispanics. They serve a terrible example to us.
Right.
And Martin Luther King was one of them. And his speech of holding hands is remembered.
That's right.
There's a memorial to him.
Oh, so much money they got.
Oh, but there's no memorial to the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre.
Imagine.
Right.
Imagine that, General.
Like, they should be sitting on billions after that. Yeah. Recognize that every year for the last 100 years. When the Black Lives Matter, one of the stories we got here about how much money she collected just from last year with George Floyd, and now she's stepping down because there's mismanagement of the funds.
Let me break your heart a little more if you need something to break your heart. Marah, go find the woman who testified before Congress about the effect that it's two survivors of the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots.
Oh, yeah.
One sister, she's 106 years old. She said because of that riot, she had to drop out of school in the 4th grade. Never got to go back to school. God. Never made any money. Struggling and poor right now because she had a 4th grade integration and is poor and starving now. Right now, today, there's a monument to Martin Luther King everywhere, national holiday. Jackie Robinson in the number 42 gets movies and love, and all of the traitors of our people are rich.
Yep. Right.
This woman has a 4th grade education and could barely get there today. Today. And she is a survivor of the race riots in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And she's destitute.
Damn.
And that is how it gets forgotten. It's just like that. You just give Martin Luther King and the Baptists and the Christians every penny, and this woman has to starve so that movement is forgotten, that massacre is forgotten, and meta world peace can reign every day. If you have the video, play for Commander General Yohanna, if you don't mind.
Like, that is utterly ridiculous. Go ahead.
I'm here seeking justice, and I'm asking my country to acknowledge what happened in Tulsa in 1921. The night of the massacre, I was awakened by my family. My parents and 5 siblings were there. I was told we had to leave, and that was it. I will never forget the violence of the white mob when we left our home. I still see Black men being shot, Black bodies lying in the street. I still smell smoke and see fire. I still see Black businesses being burned. I still hear airplanes flying overhead. I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day. Our country may forget this history, but I cannot. I will not, and other survivors do not, and our descendants do not. When my family was forced to leave Tulsa, I lost my chance of an education. I never finished school past the 4th grade. I have never made much money in my country. State and city took a lot from me. Despite this, I spent time supporting the war effort in the shipyards of California. But most of my life, I was a domestic worker serving white families. I never made much money, but to this day, I can barely afford my everyday needs. All the while, the city of this Tulsa have unjustly used the names and stories of victims like me to enrich myself and its white allies through the 30s million ways by the Tulsa Centennial Commissioner while I was continuing to live in poverty.
Rich off of
I
the
am
story and never
107
took care
years
of her.
old and have never.
And if I could, she said she remember. If I could, she said she remember the airplanes flying over, which means they were dropping bombs on them.
She remembers it at 104.
At 100,
that's how traumatizing it was.
Still smell the smoke.
She smells the smoke. 104.
A 4-year-old child, a baby, a 7-year-old.
And there was some oppressor whose maid survived Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like their maid, the woman
washing their clothes,
is one of the survivors. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
How could you even let her work in there after hearing her story?
Insane.
And have no conscience about it. She said, and spend her life till she's 104 serving white people. Like, and you think Christ is not gonna do worse than Moses with the parting of the Red Sea? Like this place here, brother, gonna get a punishment that is biblical. It's gonna get a punishment that is beyond, mind-boggling.
If you didn't know you was in the truth when Commanding General Yohanna dug up Captain Mawakwa from Chicago and brought his grandmother that had experienced damn near the same thing. You understand? A murderous, riotous mob killing their family members and having to flee. You understand? That was common occurrence in the South, in the lives of Black people dealing with the oppressor. Okay? I mean, when I heard it from Commanding General Yohanna bringing out, you understand, this does not amaze me. This was something that was definitely of a regular occurrence. You know what I'm saying? The 50 years of lynching. I remember you taught us about that in class. You know what I'm saying? Over the 500 lynchings that they did. You understand? The trophies that they took. You understand? And they wish to continue that with the blue wall of silence. That's what they do.
And if you want to learn something about it, now once again, by not learning about Tulsa, Oklahoma, it is more apt to happen again. Because you've learned about peace and love and meta world peace, and you've learned about everybody coming together and Martin Luther King, and you are ill prepared for the future because it is going to happen again. Give me Liam Neeson saying that he was about to do it back in the 70s, and this is what is in the minds of our oppressor. You got Liam Neeson. Whenever you get it, let Commander General know, right?
Yeah. And if you think it's just the citizens, if you think the police are going to protect you from their own people, listen. During Tulsa, the sheriff who represented the government started passing out deputy badges to the KKK mob. Started deputizing them to have them legally accost and murder you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Slop.
Dang.
It also is more. I mean, it's so ridiculous in that after it's over, black people, of course, ran to the neighboring white towns for safety. And the neighboring white towns set up concentration camps, or what were they called? Not concentration, but internment camps.
That's right.
Right? And they set up camps to protect the black people from the mobs trying to kill them. And you had to stay in that camp. They gathered up all of the black people for their safety, gathered them all up, put them in these internment camps. And the only way to get out of the camp is if a white man came and vouched for you and signed you out of the camp. Otherwise, you had to stay in that camp. And when I watched a whole documentary on it, and I said, what kind of black person could get a white man that would come sign for him to get him out? That's the kind of black person we all had to become.
That's right.
Like there, of course, if you're in a concentration camp and they round you up and say, nah, it's too dangerous, you stay in prison. Unless a white man comes and says you're a good one. If he signs for you, you can get out, which happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, what kind of black person would have a white man say, I'll sign for Jim. He's a good one. I'll vouch for him. He got out. Who didn't get out? The ones that didn't get out is the ones that were never allowed to be again. No one could be him. Everyone became the kind of black man that a white man would show kindness to, that a white man would feel pity on. And that is us. We are servants. That's what we became. And that's why the Lord said in the Bible, are thou a homeborn slave? Because all of us after that became the kind of black man that a white man would come and sign for and would let us out of prison and would be the best gardener, the best slave, the best dishwasher, the best, so that white people would like us because our very lives depended on white people liking us.
Just in general, just to piggyback off what you said, then he would walk around like you saying proudly with a piece of police tape on his goddamn chest.
There you go.
Pinned to his goddamn chest so the other Edomites wouldn't kill him.
He had, what GEN.YAHANNA is referring to is the badge you had to wear, which is directly out of Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany did that to the so-called Jew, made them wear a badge. A badge indicated who you were in society. Undesirable, a so-called Jew, a homosexual, a blah, blah, blah. You had to wear that badge to get out of that concentration camp by the police that says, I'm verified, I'm a good one. A white man signed me out of the concentration camp. And then, so the person who white people liked was fed. The person who white people didn't like was starved. And here we are today. What do you have? Please.
I have Liam Neeson,
Please,
sir.
play
If you want it, Amazing. I just got the picture of the quote that he said.
Go ahead. There is video of it.
Okay,
there's absolutely video of it.
Yeah,
if you can't find it, sorry. If you can't find it, go ahead and play. Give me what you got.
Liam Neeson admits to racist murder fantasy, sparks fans outrage.
Go ahead.
Liam Neeson made a stunning and disturbing admission during a press junket promoting his.
See if you can find the video while he's reading it. You got it. Go ahead.
Promoting his up-and-coming revenge thriller, Cold Pursuit. In a conversation with The Independent, the veteran actor said that years ago, an unidentified person close to him was raped by a man she said was black.
Here we go, sir. Yeah, a girlfriend of his said she was raped by a black man. I'll translate that for you. Had sex with a black man, had sex with a white man, and just says he's black. One of the two, which is what our oppressors' daughters have constantly done because they know that Liam Neeson is going to beat the life out of her for chasing penis in that bar.
That's right.
And so whenever he comes home and he sees her drawers aren't on her, he says, where have you been? She says, I was raped by a black man. because she doesn't want to be beat to death by Liam Neeson. Come on.
So that's what all his damn movies were about. His daughter being taken and come on.
That's what I was about to get to.
That's
that's all of his movies. And that's
damn.
all of them is that it's some girl he's protecting from these monsters.
Right.
Keep going. Let's we can wrap it up. Go ahead.
Khan. She said was black.
There you go. Go ahead.
The actor admitted that he went on a walking excursions while carrying a blunt weapon, hoping to be attacked by a black man so he could kill him in revenge.
And so once again, that's Liam Neeson. And he was looking to murder somebody black because a white woman said she was raped. That's how the race riot happened. It is going to happen again. If you didn't look at what happened on June 6th, when they stormed that Capitol, and what Matt Geist said this week, when he wanted people to kill the government.
Oh my goodness.
Anyone trying to kill the government is trying to kill the government because they believe the government is stopping them from killing black people.
That's right.
That's what's in their head.
That's what's in their
What's in their brain is this government won't let me shoot black people like a free white man should be able to do them. And they're going to kill the National Guard to get the right to kill black people. And Mike Geist is a congressman that wants them to do it. It's on the goddamn video.
And you should.
It's insane.
It was insane when he getting ready to say. When he said it,
it was ridiculous.
And I was going to say is that the Republican Party refused to open an investigation on the people
in this fight
that rioted at the Capitol. They don't even want an investigation of it.
No.
We'll show you the difference between us and them.
Yeah.
The difference between us and them is they could damn near do what they want. They are free. But us, we are not.
Yeah.
We are not free in this place.
And you better look at all your preachers. Your preachers are just terrible, useless people. Every preacher with that singing and them stupid tambourines and all of that choir and that whole band. How many hours do those Christians spend practicing that choir?
Exactly.
I hate the hours. Somebody, they got to be in there
all day.
It's got to be 8 hours a day,
3 times a week.
3 times a week
Sometimes
like they on Broadway or something.
Exactly.
Like they practicing all day while we're getting murdered in the street. They're going to choir practice out 3 times a week, 8 hours a day, choir practice, and we're being killed in the street. Actors, Liam Neeson walking the streets trying to kill somebody. And the choir is choir practice at 5, and they're on time, making it in there.
It's a theater right next door to us. You understand?
What's his name?
Potter's House.
The Potter's House.
They famous.
You got, come on.
We had a video, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Come on.
Yeah, it is that one.
Not powerless. This is a powerful movement. We are powerful people. We are, as President Trump reminds us, we are the elite now. And so let us use the Constitution to strengthen our argument and our movement. We have a First Amendment right to speak and assemble, and we better use it. The internet's hall monitors out in Silicon Valley, they think they can suppress us, discourage us. Maybe if you're just a little less patriotic, maybe if you just conform to their way of thinking a little more, that you'll be allowed to participate in the digital world. Well, you know what? Silicon Valley can't cancel this movement or this rally or this congressman. We have a Second Amendment in this country, and I think we have an obligation to use it. The Second Amendment, this is a little history lesson for all the fake news media. The Second Amendment is not about hunting, it's not about recreation, it's not about sports. The Second Amendment is about maintaining within the citizenry the ability to maintain an armed rebellion against the government if that becomes necessary. I hope it never does, but it sure is important to recognize the foundation.
Go back to the beginning. Sir, do you see all? Go back to the beginning if you could, Marah. Sir, do you see all the American flags up on the stand?
Yes, I do.
On Memorial Day.
On Memorial.
God bless America. What's the Second Amendment for? To kill the government. Like, to shoot the government in the head. To shoot who defends the government? Soldiers.
Exactly.
So in essence, a sitting congressman is saying, kill soldiers because it's your obligation to use it, because that's the Second Amendment and it's your obligation. I believe that's the word he used. He said, it's your obligation. We have a Second Amendment and it's your obligation to use it. What is this obligation? To have an armed revolt against the government, which means you have to kill Marines. You have to kill National Guardsmen. You'd have to kill police.
Yeah.
Like they did on January 6th.
Exactly.
When they literally killed a cop.
That's right.
And crushed one in that. That's a terrible video, that one you showed. He's screaming and he can't breathe, killing a cop. And he's a congressman. Happy Memorial Day. And that's why it's so ridiculous. This is what you should do for Memorial Day. You eat them hot dogs and them hamburgers. Blow them fireworks. You hear them outside now. Because you don't love soldiers.
Exactly.
This love for soldiers is a lie.
It's all BS.
It's nonsense. No, Matt Gaetz does not love America. He is not patriotic. Nope. Donald Trump is not patriotic. They don't love America. They love gain, money, greed. They don't love America at all. Matt Gaetz right now, sir, is being investigated for being a pedophile.
That's right.
And sex trafficking,
right,
and being sex. What's that one when you take the kids all across the world?
Sex trafficking.
Sex trafficking.
He's transporting
the kids and 11-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls all over the world to have sex with him. He's being investigated as being a pedophile right now, which makes him angry, which makes him desperate. And he's going to stay in Congress, even if he has to get his supporters to shoot a soldier in the head.
That's right.
And storm the Congress. None of them love America. That's the great myth about our oppressor. Right. Like they're, so patriotic and they love America. And there's something wrong with us. We're just evil. We don't love our country. Right. But Matt Gaetz loves his country out as long as he doesn't have to have his members shoot you in the head to keep him in Congress. Salaki, go ahead.
That's insane.
If I may, sir, they floored Tulsa, Oklahoma for the same type of thing. You say you did something and you're a black man. If somebody say you was black and raped a woman, a white man like Liam Neeson, he goes out on a killing spree or ready to kill somebody, or they floor Tulsa, Oklahoma, but a white man or the oppressor, he get the same type of charge against him, and he's the senator. He can have a rally. He got people clapping. Got him a gun.
No, our oppressor doesn't love America.
Damn right.
And you got to free yourself from that thinking. They don't love America. The people that have actually loved America is blacks and Hispanics. We have truly shed our blood for America, received nothing in return, and consistently love this place. But congressmen don't love America.
Exactly.
The police, military, the patriots, and all of those nutty groups on the internet, QAnon, and with some Proud Boys. They don't give a damn about America. They'll kill all of the National Guardsmen, Proud Boys, and QAnon. They'll shoot them all in the head for Matt Gaetz and Donald Trump. They do not love America. They love power and greed and gain. They love their own self-interest. And here's the key to building the kingdom of heaven. We have a self-interest. There are things that we need to do for ourselves. And that's what Commanding General Yahanna taught us. You focus on that. You build your own kingdom. So like you said, that was it. You die? No sign in Christ.
Right. Give it up.
That's right. Rosewood. That's another one. Go ahead.
That was another big one. Look at that. Look at that place. They burnt it too. Insane.
They had an interactive thing about how the whole town of Greenwood looked or what have you. And it was amazing the amount of businesses and the type of wealth that they had in that town. It was completely insane that they destroyed that many people's lives over a lie.
And they said that they wanted to take over that town and kill all the brothers and sisters anyway. Like they've been wanting to go steal all their money and wealth and land and property anyway. And the same would happen in any of these cities. And eventually they'll just starve us to death. 1%, like they always bring up, 1% has all the wealth. That 1% has all the wealth because we did not go back and build Tulsa, Oklahoma. Instead, we joined our oppressor instead of serving the Most High and doing what the Lord said. Instead, we figured out how to have a new mindset, which was to join our oppressor. And then that was in 21. Then we sat there all the way up to 1962 and started the whole damn thing again with Martin Luther King. Now Martin Luther King is dead. Here we are now in 2021, and we starting it again with the whole so-called Black Lives Matter and all of that, when the Lord been showing us for a long time. And I'm gonna tell you something, he gonna get tired of telling us. He gonna let us see for ourselves what is really living inside these people that rule over us. The rage in middle-aged white men right now is palpable. The rage inside them and what they want to do to blacks and Latinos and Native Indians is ridiculous. And black people, Latinos, we're going to eventually have to stop listening to these fools that's ruling over us and sitting in these churches that have been lying to us and acting so smug, like they know so well what the hell is going on. Thanks be to the Lord that he is going to be plaguing this place so that we can really see without having to listen to these fools who are going to get our people destroyed in this place, giving our soul over to them. So, Lockie, go ahead.
Damn right, sir.
The Rosewood Massacre, how a lie destroyed a black town. From the bruises on her body, it was clear that Fannie Taylor had been beaten. The story she told to explain them away destroyed an all-black town in Florida and got several of its residents murdered. On New Year's Day on 1923, Taylor, then the 22-year-old wife of a mill worker, said a black man had assaulted her. She didn't say rape, only that she'd been assaulted, but the word assault was interpreted as sexual violence by the whites in her town of Sumner, Florida. Sumner was just a few miles from Rosewood, an all-black town of about 120 people that had seen its own version of the white flight after industry left Rosewood and whites moved to Sumner. As word of Taylor's claim spread, some black people in Rosewood who worked in Sumner said that the assailant had actually been Taylor's lover, and her story was a cover-up to spare her husband's wrath, said Maxine Jones, a Florida State University professor of African American history who co-authored an account of the massacre for the Florida legislature in 1993.
And if I could, before Emmett Till died, that dirty, stinking rat that lied and said that he whistled at her finally came out with it in a book and admitted, after all of that, finally, all these years, she finally admitted that it was all a lie. Emmett Till got murdered the way he did off of her stinking racist lie. And once again, the more we sit around thinking that we could somehow convince this animal to not be an animal with us is such a bad, bad mistake. We should be serving the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. And let me tell you something. And what's so beautiful about the Most High is we would follow Esau's laws even more. We would not be criminals. We would not be drug dealers. Right. We would do everything in our power we would empower ourselves in a way that would really empower us. Not in a way where we destroy our own economy and try to survive from selling dope to each other, which is a ridiculous idea in thinking you could build an economy that way. Right. You understand? It's a joke. We would do it so right, so well. And of course, it would anger the white man, just like it did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right. Like they wasn't selling drugs on the streets of Tulsa. They was conducting business worldwide. They had trains running through there. They had all kind of shipping companies, and they did it without having to integrate with white America, because white America, like you brought out, that white flight made them leave Tulsa. So those black people had to come together and work hard to build up their own businesses. Then when it got built up and the wealth got strong, then white America looked at it like, oh, snap. The niggas can help themselves. They can do good for themselves. They got more than we have. Their city is getting bigger and stronger than us because, of course, we are the creative people. Like you brought out earlier, we created everything. So we would just naturally rise to the top. And then, of course, what do? Like jealous, disgusting bastards turn around and come and slaughter women and children and everything off of a lie really because you just want to steal everything that we had. The greatest thief there's ever been has been this beast that's ruled over us. And it's a damn shame that we still got these horrible black leaders who can't see clearly to help black people. And it's so biblical. I see why the Lord put John, the 8th chapter in that Bible.
That's right.
That 8th chapter of John, brother, is so the story of what it is when you got Uncle Tom, low-life Negroes in charge, set up by this beast and stopping everything righteous that's going forward, man. That's a perfect example of that. And we see it happening right now. And right now, particularly is important because right now is when it's going into the fervor. When they hit this midterm elections and when they come around for the next election, you got, oh my goodness. Oh my, you know what it's going to be like in this empire, man. By then, go ahead, Salah. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Taylor's claim came within days of a Ku Klux Klan rally near Gainesville, just north of Levy County, with tensions high. Her words set in motion 6 days of violence in which whites came from Sunair and neighboring towns and counties descended on Rosewood, intent on finding the alleged assailant and lynching him.
Right, and of course, sir, it's a big coincidence that these are all thriving black cities.
Exactly.
Right? And this is a good rebuttal to all of you Jay-Z black people out there. There are so many black people that believe that the answer to black people's deliverance is just really getting better jobs.
That's right.
It's just being, going to Atlanta.
Crossing over.
Yeah, crossing over, going to Atlanta, Georgia, building up businesses. And that's how we'll succeed. And of course, we'll now find salvation because all of us have the most degrees, the most jobs. All of us are Tyler Perry. So now we found the kingdom of heaven. Let me tell you something. If you live in Atlanta or different cities that believe they can build a new Rosewood, that's exactly what you're doing. Building a new Rosewood. You understand me? You're building a new Tulsa, Oklahoma. And every black person in Atlanta selling drugs is saving your life. Every black person in Atlanta that's a drug dealer, a criminal, a thief, and a liar, and a robber is making sure that Atlanta never succeeds enough to become a threat for the rest of Georgia to burn that city to the ground.
Lock them up and throw
because that's all that will happen. All that would happen if we all became Jay-Z and we all, all built these cities like Atlanta and where we all were Jay-Z's and Denzel Washingtons and we all thrived and there was no crime, then they would drop bombs on us and kill everybody. And if you don't know that, you're silly. That the only reason that they go buy your home as opposed to burn it down is because of the crime.
That's right.
The crime means they actually will go buy your house. But if there was no crime and just thriving banks and black banks and businesses, then they would have the police and white supremacists burn your thriving community to the ground. There is no solution but God's protection. There's no jobs or success or colleges that can protect you, else Rosewood would be safe. And Tulsa, Oklahoma would be safe. There's no amount of crime you can commit and sell enough drugs, or else we would be thriving because we've sold all of the drugs and committed all of the crime that put us in jail and destroyed us. There's only one solution, and it's the biblical one, that Old Testament one, that New Testament one, where we serve God and our enemies become his enemies. Our adversary becomes his adversary. Cabal.
So Matt Getz was just saying that if the niggas rise up, I'm going to unleash. I want the power to unleash you upon these Negroes that are not going to commit crimes and going to turn their people away. Right. He just wants to, wholeheartedly just come up against anybody that he deems a threat in the black Hispanic community.
Let me tell you how bad it is.
It's going to be bad.
If we, without God's help, our oppressor would kill rich football players and basketball players.
Yes, he would.
He would kill them.
Yep.
They would kneel down at a stadium, and the people in the stands would come onto the field and kill, what's that brother?
LeBron James.
Yeah. LeBron, who's the one who kneeled? Colin Kaepernick. They would kill Colin Kaepernick. Right. They would kill millionaire black people. Right. They would kill LeBron James. They would kill Kyrie Irving. They would kill all of them. They would kill people who thought they had succeeded. They had enough money and wealth and white women in their bed that meant they were free from this type of hatred from white people. Right. Your oppressor would just kill you. Exactly. He would wipe you up. There would be no football player kneeling. They would be put to death there in the stadium. Am I making this up? All you need to do is like, look in history. They would kill you right there in the stadium. You'd be put to death for kneeling. You'd be put to death for not standing for the national anthem. You'd be killed for it.
It's so true.
Salakia.
Damn right. Damn right.
They turned it into a whole event. Pull out the grills and take pictures and make postcards.
That's right.
They made a postcard of Tulsa, burn it, and said, "This is how you get Negroes to leave a city."
Dang.
21, sent it out to their family.
Dang. And you rich black people, that if not for the Lord's mercy, that's what you get, man. Because you just believe that having a white girlfriend and being rich bars you from oppression. Sure. Like now you should receive no oppression. You shouldn't be treated like a nigger ever again. When brother, that you're the first one they're getting. That's right. Like before they go to the hood and the ghettos and the projects, they're going to kill the black people who they deem as successful, like Rosewood and like Oklahoma. They're going to find you first. Yes. They're going to kill you because you're successful. And oppressors believe you should not be successful if you're black or Hispanic. They're not going to go to the projects. They're going to kill you black people that thought your money protected you. Your money protected you from their hatred. You're going to be Oklahoma. You're going to be Rosewood. Kyrie Irving and LeBron James and Jay-Z, you'll be first. You'll be the ones that they get first.
And you'll be the most shocked.
Salaki. You good to go ahead, Maral? You read from or whoever?
What we got?
Go ahead.
Which one do you want?
The next one, whatever one you see up there. Whatever one is not Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And not Rosewood.
Now, do you want to go to the UNC rejection of Nicole Hannah-Jones and the opacity of academic tenure in America based on the fact that she didn't get tenure and she was the one that suggested that they should teach in the curriculum the 1611 project. You know that project.
We could if you want, sir, but if I could, I don't know if GEN.YAHANNA, I'm not sure. I didn't go over this with you. Mm-hmm. Okay, but this kind of story is the problem. Okay, this in essence is a story, Cabal. Right. Tell me if I'm right. This is a story about a black person in academia who did not get tenure.
Right.
And because she didn't get tenure, it's a news story.
Right.
This is the problem. Like the problem with all of black and Hispanic life is fighting for these rich people all the time. This is where the civil rights movement, this is what it actually was about. The civil rights movement was making sure she gets tenure. And he gets to be a partner in the law firm. And he gets to be the head of surgery at Johns Hopkins. And this, like the whole civil rights movement destroyed the base of our society so that Jackie Robinson could play for the baseball team.
Exactly.
And the problem with black life is giving a damn about her and her tenure.
Right.
Who gives a damn while we're getting shot dead and strangled by the cops?
That's right.
She didn't make tenure. I get you. Okay, it's a tragedy. Now, what should I do now? March? Like, what do I got to do? I got to go march in the street and let German shepherds eat me so that she can get tenure, so that he can be chief of police.
And why would she expect to get tenure?
Jesus
why wouldn't she more expect to not get tenure?
Right.
They did Cornell West dirty up there in Princeton. You understand? I met him at Princeton. I was up at Princeton and met him, brother. He can't walk down the street at Princeton University. He walked down the street out. I'm talking people coming up to him from both sides in hordes when he hits Princeton University. That's how famous Cornell is.
Damn.
Yeah, he's like,
stop it.
You know what I mean? And meanwhile, them crackers, as famous as he is up there at Cornell, at Princeton, which is hard as a mother to get into if you in academics, brother. Getting in Princeton is like, that's Einstein school. So you getting in there is, almost impossible, especially if you black. And meanwhile, they just told him to kiss their ass. They wasn't giving him no tenure after all that he did and sacrifice suffered. But like you said, The problem is him not getting tenure means nothing and should be expected. Listen, and here's what's amazing about it. He is an activist against all the injustices happening to black people. Why would anybody be shocked that an injustice would happen to him? Like it's supposed to be like he speaks about this injustice, but it doesn't actually happen to him. When that is exactly where it's going to happen at, because it permeates every part of our society, when what's really the problem, and which is why, again, Christ was such a masterful leader in showing us what to do. That's why he said to Paul, condescend to men of low estate. Like we got to take care of these brothers from the bottom up. That's where we got to do. That's who's important. The brother getting dragged out of his car and his head split open is not being educated before or after the assault. He's not being properly educated on who this animal is and how he should be conducting himself in this kingdom. That's what's important. Meanwhile, we sat around for years. I remember since the 80s, where we sat around, and you talking to a man who knows firsthand knowledge of being dragged out of cars by these goddamn dirty ass cops. Okay, up there in the Bronx. And brother, from I was a child, these academic leaders and preachers only taught you got to obey the police officer. You got to respect him. You got to talk right to him. You got to keep your hands on the wheel. You got to this and you got to that. Meanwhile, everybody in the hood was saying, but they doing it anyway. Well, even when brothers do that. And of course, where was academia then? Where was all these educated post-Martin Luther King black leaders to do this? And I'm going to tell you something too. And in all these cases and all these protests, I said this before, the lawyers should go argue in court. And when they step outside of court, they should shut the fuck up. Excuse my French. Sorry, Salak. But I mean, that's what should happen. Sorry, young fellas. You understand? Like they should come out of court and shut the hell up. Like the lawyers should not be telling nobody nothing other than this is the case. This is what happened to the case. You need black leaders, men raised up by God, to tell our people what it is we should and should not do and how to deal with this animal. Not a bunch of black lawyers trying to get bills passed that mean that's like life and death right now. Like passing that new bill, a new police reform bill, it's like life and death right now to these lawyers. And when they pass that bill, it's going to mean absolutely nothing to what is happening to us, just like every other bill that came before it. The lawyers should do what they do in court. They good in court. They should get in court. And they should argue the case in whatever merits the case has. But when they get the hell out of the courtroom, they should shut the hell up. It should be men of God telling our people, this is the direction that we should be in. This is what we should be doing. And brother, let me tell you something. In short order, that job is coming to the men of the God. I'm telling you now, you in this UPK, right. Listen to my words good. You stay in this UPK because here's the problem that the world doesn't understand. The Lord's mathematics is better than yours. What do I mean by that? I mean that the Most High can make a move that you never expected nor ever could calculate that would happen. And he would make that move before you. And when he makes that move, he'll turn everybody's head in the empire in a different direction. And those things are about to happen before your life. The coronavirus was just the beginning. But you about to see the riots up at the Capitol was another. But you about to see the Lord step in and really show you what real leadership is like. What really we supposed to do. And also to dig out the evil among us. Because a lot of us is some wicked ass bastards living among ourselves and not towing the line. A lot of us are some selfish monsters that promote a church that is completely dedicated to an alternative lifestyle, men and women, right. That is destroying the morality of blacks and Latinos, that's taking away their power and authority, that's murdering their babies out, that's teaching us a singing and dancing version of Jesus Christ that is useless to us. Like church is useless to you except to vent on Sunday, because you're too old to go to the club. You look too stupid at 60 going to the club, so you go to church on Sunday. Other than that, you're goddamn useful. It's useless. And so that's all it's good for. It's good for a good meal and some good, it's a good rallying cry. It's a good Tony Roberts meeting.
There you go.
A good, let's motivate,
yeah.
motivation speakers. But other than that, it's useless to Black and Latinos, man. And yet, they get to step in the front of the situation time and time again. But boy, oh boy, the Most High going to change that scenario. And I can't wait till it happens because you need it desperately. You need a whole new moral revolution among Blacks and Latinos, man. And it's going to be glorious in that day. And to think that, and if I could, last point, to think that we could change this beast or do something different with this animal is so dumb. It's the dumb, like after 400 years, it's the dumbest thing in the world. We got to change how we operate with this beast. And then you're going to see massive results. You're going to see shocking results. You're going to see results that are going to be shocking and angering of this animal that's ruling over you, man. So long. Get us.
Damn right. Give him a hand. Die.
I think that was a good one.
47 in custody deaths of Black people blamed on the sickle cell trait. Does this pattern reveal a cover-up?
47.
Carnival Khan.
Go ahead.
Carnival Khan. A recent investigation into the use of the sickle cell trait as a cause of death revealed that dozens of Black families are still waiting for justice after their loved ones died in police custody.
You want to break some out? Go ahead.
It's just that's insane that they would do an autopsy on you or find your medical records and try to say when they done killed you that you had sickle cell.
And so
your breath. I can't breathe.
So meaning people die in police custody, getting strangled or whatever, and then after they're dead, the cause of death they get is they had sickle cell. Jesus Christ. Well, listen, let's march so that woman could become tenured at Princeton. Let's march so that we can have a Black NFL player. That's what we really need. We need a Black NBA coaches. More Black. You need more Black coaches. That's what we need. We need more Black mayors, more Black police chiefs, and let's not even worry about the fact that they're going to strangle you to death and then just say you had sickle cell, and then that's that. And it's over because we have a Black mayor, Black coach, and Black tenured professors. Reading on, Udiah, go ahead. Please, keep next story. Oh, that's his more ball. Let me know.
That was it. That was ignorant.
Go ahead.
Nearly 80% of white Republicans say America has done enough to help Black people.
Keep going.
Go ahead.
92% of Black pollers say more needs to be done. A new Exos poll has revealed that white Republicans believe that enough has been done for Black Americans in the fight against racism. The results come in.
If I could, and this is why another Rosewood is going to happen. Another Tulsa, Oklahoma is going to happen. As you sit and you live in the reality of what it is to be Black and Hispanic. Our oppressor is watching you from play basketball and play football and looking at you as Jay-Z and looking at Barack Obama and going, what are you complaining about? What's your problem? Whatever you've succeeded, you have overcome. And then when you complain, he thinks you're nagging him and he's sick of it. And I'm telling you, after COVID, our oppressor does not want to, they have a word for, I think they call it race frustration or some word that means, it's a new academic word that means they're tired of talking about race, of dealing with race, of having to care about race. All while Donald Trump was president, they had to deal with it with the kneeling and the protests. And now they want to watch you play basketball and throw popcorn at you. And that's that. They don't want any of this. You got to complain about how you're treated. They want to go back to real America, which is Black people, shut your mouth and bounce that ball and show up to work and do what the cops tell you to do. and they think you're complaining for nothing.
And if I could add to it, General, they feel like, listen, we slaughtered to get this, and we don't want to have to keep apologizing. We slaughtered the Indians, we slaughtered the Mexicans, we slaughtered black people, we enslaved you. We know what we did. We don't want to apologize no more. We want to go on and enjoy the spoils of our gain as thieves and murderers that we are. And listen, and they don't want no more headaches, but they gonna have to deal with it, because once again, that's the plague that's on this place, just like it was on ancient Egypt. That's the plague of this place. And brother is going to bring it to its knees, this plague. Go ahead, you was gonna say something, General?
Please, you're dying.
Go ahead.
Please.
Hey, can I give y'all one real quick? This is an interesting story, if I could, real quick. This came out on CNN a couple of days ago. All right, here's what it says. Rhonda Weiss, 58, waited 9 years for the organ donation that would change her life. An Arab Christian born in the old city of Jerusalem. This is an Arab. She born over there in Israel in the old city, right? Mm-hmm. She was relying on regular dialysis sessions as her kidney failed. Then the call came. A donor kidney was available. Weiss had surgery Monday at Jerusalem's famed Hadassah University Hospital. When she went under anesthesia, she did not know who the donor was. Only afterward did she find out that it was Yigal Yehoshua, a Jewish Israeli man who died in the wave of violence between Jews and Arabs in the Israeli town of Lod. Now, let me tell you something now. They're about to throw Netanyahu out of office. Them so-called Jews is going against the plan of killing off these Arabs.
Yeah.
And they're going to turn that place into a bloodbath. They're going to have their own rebellions in their own empire against one another, because the ones that believe in the peace plan are not going to side with them, and you're about to have a mess over there. That land right now over there is going into a hellified turmoil, just as they're trying to set up this temple. That was it.
If they trying to kick Putin out, they got a problem, because that Putin is
not Putin. No.
I'm sorry. If I'm calling Putin, I call Netanyahu.
He's like Putin.
Falafel Putin.
God,
he's falafel Putin or shawarma Putin. And he is not going to want to go. They definitely want to get rid of him. But that cat is falafel Putin.
That's right.
And he is not going to walk out of there without a straight up fight. Ooh-wee. Salaki, sir. That was it?
No, that's it. That was it.
Go ahead, please. Please.
I don't trust you. Officer with assault rifle orders black locksmith working in a white neighborhood to stop recording. Man asserts his right to film.
Please go ahead and play the video. I believe this video.
You got video of this? Like, boy, this is a lesson for us to learn, boy.
Yeah.
Like, we better wake up. I feel sorry for those of us who refuse to wake up. You old smug, puffed up, all up in your church Christians that think you know everything. I feel sorry for you, because you're so blind. You're so blind to what is coming around the corner from this animal. Go ahead.
It says a black locksmith filmed his encounter with several police officers who confronted him as he was changing a lock, and he said it was a predominantly white neighborhood. And the video, first shared to TikTok on May 23rd, viewed more than 1 million times. An officer tells the man and his colleagues that they're to see about an alleged complaint. The data and location of the encounter are not known. In the 2-part footage posted by TikTok, it says he was working in a white neighborhood. At least 4 officers approached the worker, who was seen over an open toolbox on the front doorstep of a home. He said, "Look at this S." The man said the officers approached. One officer held an assault rifle in 2 hands, while another officer carried one on his waist. "Is there anything in the house?" An officer asked. "No, we're doing work order changing the lock." He said, "You see the effing drill, right? Put your phone down." The officer holding the assault rifle said as he approached.
If I could, do we have the video up? Yes, sir. Let's play it.
Yes, sir. I got the video right now.
This is ridiculous.
Okay, so give me 1 second.
What city is this, you know?
Atlanta. You said Atlanta?
Look, almost inclusive.
Close to Atlanta.
Here we go. Where is that?
We're just trying to figure out what's going on, all right?
We're burglarizing the crib, we're working changing locks. Oh my God, look at this shit.
Is there anybody else in the house?
Oh, we're doing the work order. Changing the locks. You see the fucking drill set, right?
You guys watch him, we'll go.
Put your phone down.
I can record. It's a free.
I don't want what you have in your hands.
Nah, I don't trust you.
You can leave it on.
I don't trust you. Don't put it on him. We ain't doing nothing wrong. We're here to change the lock change.
Understood. We're here for a complaint. That's all.
Fuck.
I put my hands down.
We ain't doing nothing wrong.
One of the neighbors called to make you guys kick the door or something.
Yeah, that's what we had to do. We got to break the lock. We got to change the lock.
I'll just tell you while we're here.
That's cool, man.
I want to tell you something.
So the cop rolls up with an AR type gun with a suppressor on it, and his first words were for the TikTok.
It's a lot here. In the story, it says in the TikTok video that the location is unknown, and the data for the location and time of the event was unknown. So you better start tagging in your damn feeds, ISUPK, Atlanta, ISUPK, Louisiana, wherever it is that you having an issue and problem, you understand? You better let us know by tagging ISUPK. If you ain't getting no service from the black leadership, you better start tagging ISUPK is going to solve my problems, you understand, as soon as possible. That's what you better start doing, like, because they didn't even tag this properly of where it happened. So, this could be any city, USA, any, outside of any major metropolitan city you in. You know what I'm saying? It looked like a goddamn a slum or what have you, a trailer park. The grass is starting to grow up or what have you. You better stay out of white folk neighborhood or what have you. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right.
Jeez. You know what I'm saying? So you better start tagging these the videos with ISUPK. We need help. Oh, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to take.
And once again, that's what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Some lie, some oppressor says you're there to rob the place.
That's right.
And you're going to get killed.
That's right.
Are you going to get shot in the mouth? Yeah, the whole town is going to come out, murder you, and the story will be they murdered a home invasion. Someone was trying to kidnap their children, and you were there to change a lock, and you're going to get killed. Right. And that is how close we are to having another Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're right there, right at the beginning. If you can't, most people, I think you can already see it. I don't think this is something I even got to teach, sir. I think everybody sees that we're right there where they'll do this again. Yeah. They'll have another race massacre again.
And if I could,
just to say, you see, they foaming at the mouth every time for the smallest matters. They come like the SWAT team, like you got them Al-Qaeda. You understand? They foaming at the mouth to use these guns they got and these tactical weapons. They rode up on the video a little while ago. They was like a bunch of country boys in the back of the pickup. That's how they roll now. They roll up on you in a pickup truck, 5 cops in the back of the pickup, jump out and end up murdering that brother. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was driving away.
Yeah.
And they blasted him. You're right, General.
So it's like they wanted that. They want it and it's coming.
And if I add to what you're saying, General, that was shocking to me, not shocking, but what I'm observing and watching is how they are not doing anything about the ones that raided that Capitol. Like, if they ain't going to do anything about these crackers, these Edomites that raided this Capitol out, then, brother, it's on. Yeah. Because that means if they ain't going to do nothing about that, they certainly are not going to do nothing about what they come to do to us. And the illusion, y'all are dumb as hell if you think Kamala Harris is going to save your black ass in that day. Like, that's what we think. We thinking Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is going to, they're going to step up.
They didn't send the goddamn the people to back them up.
Exactly. They're gonna step in and Salakia and put a stop to the massacre. These people, if they ain't doing it for cops at the Capitol, listen, they shouted, kill Mike Pence, killed Mike Pence, and they still don't want an investigation. So it'll be no investigation if they decide to slaughter black people.
Sir, they arrested they arrested 2 Edomites, 2 oppressors that staged guns in a hotel in Virginia. Meaning, in case they would need them, there was a place in Virginia with more guns, so they could go get more guns to refurbish them in the battle when they went to go kill everybody in the Capitol. Had bombs all over the place, and there is no government investigation into the thing at all. They don't want anybody investigated, which means what about you oppressors out there? You're soft on crime. That's your problem. The UPK is hard on crime. We are hard on crime in the UPK. But you Americans and you oppressors, you are soft on crime. If you weren't, you would have an investigation on those people that stormed the Capitol on June 6th.
That's right.
But you're not going to do it because you're soft on crime.
Especially Republicans.
Especially Republicans.
Law and order.
You're soft. The UPK, we're pro law and order in here. This is a pro law and order organization. But you are soft on crime. You're weak. You're weak on crime, and you allow criminals to go unchecked and run ramshot all over your goddamn Capitol and do what they want because you're soft. You're soft on criminals, and all you do is influence more crime by making there be no repercussion to them pissing on Nancy Pelosi's desk and killing a cop. Killing him, squeezing that one. When you played that video, that wasn't getting squeezed. I was moved for compassion with that cat because I could feel myself squeezed.
You know it had to be bad.
Oh
if
my
Muhammad had compassion on the Edomite, it
had
had to be bad. And brother, he was in that doorway.
He was squeezed up
and squeezed and inside. Like that's a position you don't want to be in because the guy that was assaulting him was right here ripping his mask off, and he couldn't even raise his hands to stop the assault on his. The guy was this close, and then the guy lifted the mask and pepper sprayed him in his face from close range. And they said hundreds of those cops went to the hospital. They got all kind of inhalation industries. That wasn't just pepper spray; they was spraying bear spray.
Yeah, bear spray.
Okay, and some of that was bear spray. First of all, it shoots even further. It has mace and it's a higher concentration because you got to stop a bear. It ain't just stopping a dog.
So it's mace for a bear.
But yes, it's like mace for a bear. And it's got a farther spray, a far more potent recipe in it. Okay. And it's horrible. And they were spraying it all over them cops. Them cops got all kind of inhalation problems. Forget about the injuries. The injuries they said it was hundreds of them went in and they won't do a damn thing about it. They certainly are not going to do anything about anything else. If I could real quick, big up the Wharf 8114. He said, their feet is swift to shed blood. And Just Art and Paint said, since forever when it comes to us, sir. Like it's been on and on and on and on and on and on going. You understand? And on and on and on going. And Erskine, don't even pay attention to nobody talking about the Shield of David. That's IUIC, man. Those are cyber trolls. They got in there employed in there to try and discredit this truth. We went through these many times and broke this thing down, man. He ain't even worth your time. Erskine Littleton been doing it right for a long time. Damn right. West Philly for life. West Philly for life. 1992 said they hunt our steps. Damn right, man. They sure do. And they do it, in a horrible way. Archie Thomas said on and on till the break of dawn. All
right, Archie.
Big shout out to Archie. You know what I'm saying? No Cowards Yonkers, big shout out to you as well, man. It said cyber trolls, brother. Like everybody gonna speak against what we doing until you understand death is at their door. Let me tell you something, man. The brothers and sisters in the ISUPK are doing an absolute noble job in this work of the Most High. You understand? And if I could, y'all, real sidebar, please. I was personally impressed at all of the events, just personal events that they had, that was all over Facebook. Big shout out to Ra'am.
I don't know about them gender reveal parties, but
That's right.
But this is no sin.
No sin, no
They
sin.
had a good time. I don't know about it. I don't know
I
much.
don't know.
I'm a little past them
I know
years.
you
So,
telling, yeah.
but everybody seemed like they had a wonderful time. Them two have an amazing marriage.
Yeah.
They upbeat, man. The whole Chicago camp. Big shout out to Captain Malquad. General Q is here with his lovely wife, all the way from Canada. Big shout out to you, sis. How you pronounce her name? Barack Wana. Big shout out to Barack Wana. Okay, all the way from Canada, down here hanging with us in the studio tonight. Brought a whole bunch of beautiful events with brothers and sisters. I see marriages happening, people coming together, and and nobody's breaking laws. Everybody's keeping the laws and building. You're gonna start to see it come open. Like the Lord do, just like you plant a plant and that plant break out of the earth and start to grow, you're going to see it start to grow and start to come all the way out and be something amazing. Like we are doing it now. And believe me, they are feeling the heat of what it is we doing. We have so many big things on the horizon, man, that we'll be telling you about shortly. Big shout out to Captain Tazaryak, about to go up against on that. What's the name of that site? On the Kill Stream. When is it coming up?
I think it's tomorrow.
Go check out Cross the Line. They gonna get on that. That's gonna be amazing. You understand? I ain't gonna cut the time. We still gonna kick it, y'all. I just wanted to bring these things in. I'm not gonna do the shout out list. I'll do the shout out list next week or down the road. But big shout out to everybody that's up in here in the room. Hit the like button, y'all. Know that. Come on now. Hit the like button, y'all.
Yeah, so y'all was gonna crush that Edomite that hates Israelites.
Which
Edomite that hates Israelites.
Brown boy one?
No, with the little one.
Oh, that
Vocab Malone.
Oh, okay,
Crush him up too soon.
Yeah, that's he. You know, man. It'd be good to get him and the FBI and all of them, you know, tighten them up too. You know, man. Get them where they need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And do what we do. Of course, I want to tell you to pay your tithe. Support this truth. ISUPK.com. Send me the goddamn cheddar so I can do what it is that I got to do in this work of the Most High. Support this truth, okay? Like I said, we got big things on the horizon. I mean, big things on the horizon. General Muhammad ain't gonna let me. He trying to hold me back, but I'm busting the purse strings open. I'm finna spend this money. We're gonna get some shit done. He called me every week. Don't spend that money. We gonna do some things in here. Listen, we adventurous up in here. We always on an adventure. And you understand? It makes the shit work. Muhammad, the conservative, don't do that. You understand? But this time I'm taking no counsel. I'm busting out. We're gonna do some big things up in this truth.
Rode all the way up to Chicago in the van.
Oh,
man, I forgot about that.
Families,
I'm
baby.
telling you.
We do some adventures in here. You know what I'm saying? Damn right. So we're gonna do big things. Also, too, man, a lot of big barbecues coming up. Make the pilgrimage, man. I think who's up first? I think Chicago's up first. I'm definitely going out to Chi-Town, see my man Captain Malquad and his whole squad out there, and all the brothers and sisters. Gonna see them, man. New York's having theirs also out on that island, Randall's Island. They done renovated that whole island. They used to kill Negroes out there with experiments and all that. They done renovated that whole island. It's beautiful. Now we're going back out there. They're gonna have that. I heard Florida's on the table. Of course, you know Houston. You got to have your game tight when you go to Houston. They might bust out on you. You know what I mean? Oh, Yakas out there, Captain Kahan. So big shout out to them. Them barbecues is coming all this week, and so that's where we at. Again, I ain't gonna run the whole rundown. Come on with it, you die. Let's get a little bit more. Say again. Vegas. Yeah, I missed Vegas last year. I'm trying to come to Vegas this year too. I hurts that roulette wheel. Muhammad will tell you. I break the cheddar home on that roulette wheel. I hurts him every time. They hate to see me come. You understand? Get him every time on that roulette wheel. Come on with it, man. Go out there and have a good time. Hold that thought for a second, all right? I'll come back to you, bro. All right?
You die.
I'll come back to you, okay?
Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors stepped down amid controversy over handling donations, claims exit was already in the works.
Hey, listen, man, you know what? People going through all kind of stuff with trying to build these organizations and doing stuff. We don't know who's behind that or where that money's come from. People accusing George Soros of being in that, the communists. Who the hell knows? Here's what's missing from the whole thing. What's missing from the whole thing is that we got to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. It's noble to try to build and do some protesting and all that. All that's good. Yeah. But what's more important is what is the moral fabric that you are rolling out? That's where we keep missing. We think we could build a movement without having moral rules to everything that we're doing, when that's an impossibility. You cannot do that. And so the Most High gonna prove it all out. So that's it. You know, we can go on. Give me something else. You die. What else you got? I got something too if you need it. Go ahead.
It says, "You are home. You are one of us." 59 African Americans received citizenship in Sierra Leone.
Yeah, that's, you know, I don't know why anybody would do that. And furthermore, once again, it's selfishness and trying to build, you know, a heaven somewhere else. Yeah. You understand? Black people moving to Ghana, moving here, moving there, trying to build a heaven somewhere else. When you're going to have to, you got to, if you really are in the right mindset, you're going to have to build black people. And you have to build black people and Latino people right here among us. Trying to go to another country by yourself and blend in. You know what it is? That is exactly like them scriptures say with Adam and Eve when they broke them laws. Adam and Eve broke them laws. Right. The scripture said they went and sewed fig leaves on themselves, meaning they went and got among the other nations and tried to disappear in those nations, tried to hide from their responsibility of bringing in the chosen seed of the Most High. Instead, they tried to put on the culture and the ideas of those African countries. And because of it, they tried to blend in it, and it did not happen. The Lord still stepped in and stepped to them and said, what the hell is going on here? And stop that nonsense. And that's exactly what he's going to do again. You can't go to another country. They tried it in Israel. All them black people went back there in the 60s, man, and tried to build a community. They did it also in Ethiopia. Tons of black people, tons of West Indians went back to Ethiopia, tried to build that Ethiopia, tried to praise Haile Selassie and make him out to be a god, and ran over there, man. They ran them out of there and said, man, this ain't your land. Get the hell off this damn land. Ran their ass right back to where they were at, which was down in that Caribbean. You cannot do that. That's a bad, bad mistake to go out there thinking you could do that. So, Locke,
if I could briefly, sir. What Commander Gen.YAHANNA is bringing out is so true. Back before everyone was Egyptian, since the 70s, every black person believes they can trace their bloodline back to Egypt. Well, before Egypt, it was Abyssinia.
Yep.
Everybody was an Abyssinian. And Abyssinia is Ethiopia. And every black person believed they were from Abyssinia. Well, right now, this week in Abyssinia, in Ethiopia, there's a massacre down there in the Tigray region of Ethiopia, which is like northern Africa. And I think they're killing everybody as far as I can tell, sir.
Dang.
They're killing it's a civil war.
Dang.
And those Ethiopians have killed like 3 million people. It's the government against some break-off government, you know, usual civil war nonsense.
Yeah.
But Lord have mercy, if you were running from Chicago to go to Abyssinia to get out of trouble, that was simple. That was a stupid thing to do. And of course, you can't find heaven like that.
That's right.
So like yourself.
No, you're right. And you're giving up everything you built in this empire. Like you spent 400 years obtaining the little crumb that you obtained, and you're going to give it away to go fly over to Africa to start all over again and hope that you be accepted by the Africans, which once again shows you such a lack of education.
Right.
Like we are so uneducated in this place to believe that all dark-skinned people are the same, that all dark-skinned people somehow you have some affinity with dark-skinned people. That's why I laugh when you conscious community people talk about you hearing from your ancestors or you listening to your nigga. You ain't from Egypt, stupid. So what are you talking about?
That's right.
Your ancestors ain't from Egypt. So how are you talking about that? They weren't the Egyptians. And it's so sad because we hold on to Egypt as though it is the place to be when we only hold on to Egypt because it was the empire that was so glorified by the Edomites. There was many empires that were super rich and super powerful that were in Africa. But we glorify Egypt because, of course, Esau glorifies Egypt. And guess what? Egypt is how we made so much money. America made a ton of money off of Egypt strategically, off of oil, and off of tourism. You understand? And that's why I thank one of my mentors, man, Chief Ed Priest Kazak. When he took me back to Egypt, man, on both of them occasions, he just got back himself. Okay, he didn't teach me to love Egypt as though it was some great homeland. He showed me that that was the place that enslaved us. And the wealth and the power and the greatness that they had came from what they had done to us, okay, and how they had destroyed us. And he showed me how we were the ones enslaved underneath them. And we are the ones that had to worship their gods to our detriment. And only through the grace and mercy of the Most High did he come back, man, and shut that whole empire down and freed us from the hands of those oppressors, man. And that is going to happen again, man. Yeah. You understand? That's the mindset we should be in. Salakia. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Go ahead, please.
You dying.
Good. Experts call anti-protest bills a backlash to 2020 racial reckoning.
Once again, it was dumb to think that those things that we did in protesting and in elections would go unchallenged. They just passed a ton of new election laws. They said they fighting down there in Texas tooth and nail. They already passed in some of them states them laws about you giving them a bottle of water. You give somebody a bottle of water, you going to jail. It's a crime. They said it's a crime. And they said, and they passed laws to up the penalties for crimes relating to voting. After that 2020 election, they mad as hell. And let me tell you something. If black people were not involved in the election, then they would not be saying it was stolen. They're saying it's stolen because, of course, they are angry that the party of Negroes won the damn election.
That's all.
And again, black leaders and Latino leaders, of course, they don't see the forest for the trees. They don't see the danger that they put you in and the mismanagement of your life by making the decisions that they've made. These decisions are detriments to us. Like, we went and joined a process that it doesn't matter that the Democrats won. They're passing state laws to lock you up in jail by the tens of thousands and passing laws to make sure that you can't use mail-in ballots in many of these states. Right. Like, they just go and do the opposite of whatever it is you're trying to do, because once again, the Lord is not with you. And he's not with you because you're not obeying his laws and statutes and commandments. You're not going to be able to eat bacon and pass voter laws that's going to be effective. I know it don't make sense. I know it don't come together. But it does work. Right. If you understand what I understand, you understand shrimp scampi and voting Democrat does not fix your problem.
Does not.
The shrimp scampi cancels out the Democratic vote. That's the I know it's geometry. Yeah. I know it's calculus to some of you. You understand? It's beyond calculus, but that's the mathematics of it. And you're going to have to get past that.
Damn right.
You're going to have to get a moral stance and change that. And here's the thing that aches in my soul about this, y'all, generals, is that I so understand it now more than ever, and I see it coming to pass as is written in them scriptures. And I notice our people as a whole don't see it. I noticed that. I see the frustration of Stephen, Peter, Paul, because they watching this happen. It's like you watching a plane crash and you saying to yourself, pull up the nose, pull up the nose. And the pilot is delirious on what's going on. And you're like, yo, pull up the nose. And then he hits the ground. Boom. And you're like, damn. Didn't he see what he was supposed to do? That's what happens with us. And that's what's going on with us right now. And I see it clearly. And it's a sad song. Go ahead, Salaki.
That's it. We at 11.
We at 11? Oh, we out of here, man. I had a good time, man. I hope you did too, man. Join us every Monday night. We do it up live. The heavy hitters in the building as usual, man. Mirage Squad on the helm. I'll see y'all next time live on the UPK,
All
fam.
right, all right.
Shalom.
Yeah. 144. Yeah.
Everybody ain't go for this, man. Gentlemen.
Man, the Israelite School of UPK and Commander General Yana presents Hebrew Academy, man, at the 52nd annual Passover, man. We are an elite group amongst an elite group, man. We the set apart of the set apart. This ain't for everybody, man. Everybody is not required to do the Hebrew Academy. But if you desire to bleed and sweat, man, for these covers, man, if you desire to anguish and pain and all the suffering that it takes to attain this greatness, man, then present yourself worthy at the 52nd annual Passover, man, hosted by Commander General YAHANNA at the BH Ranch on April 24th at 14149 Player Street in Houston, Texas, man. Shalom.
Everybody ain't go for this, man. Gentlemen.
I'm on the grind. Let's get to it. Double time and believe. You ain't harming me, nigga. I brought a whole army of niggas. So I ain't move with precision. Follow every order given. Let's get to it. Make it rich. Get to it. Ain't taking no shit. Get to it. You take a loss, try to bounce back, bunch of blood. Let me show you how to do it. Undisputed, I can prove.